Hey everyone, so just before all the footage from people who have already played Valorant goes out this Friday, I just wanted to upload my opinion on all the abilities that will be in the game. Now, this is a pretty controversial topic, so I wanted to start this just by saying it's my opinion and it's okay if you don't share my point of view. So with that out of the way, I'm your coach, Crip6, and let's get started. So first up, I'm going to run through the abilities of the 8 agents that we know about so far and give my opinions on all of them as I go. If you want to talk further about any of this stuff, make sure you either comment down below or also follow me at twitch.tv/Crip6. The link is in the description below. So first up, we have Phoenix, who has Hot Hands, which is a fireball that acts much like a Molotov in CSGO, but with the added benefit of healing you when you walk through it. Blaze is his next ability, which is a flame wall that you can curve. His signature ability is called Curveball, which is essentially flashbangs that curve around walls to blind your enemies for a short period of time. And then finally we have his ultimate called Run It Back, where you mark a location and get a free respawn to there when you die. Now, for Counter-Strike players, Phoenix will feel very familiar. Between Hot Hands and Curveball, you're essentially getting 2 pieces of CS equipment. When it comes to balancing, I personally can't find anything that would be too overpowered, and I love the design of Phoenix. He so far is the leading contender for becoming my main. Next up is the one that everyone is dying to try, Jet. Cloudburst and Updraft are her 2 abilities that you can buy. Cloudburst acts essentially as a smoke grenade and obscures lines of sight. Updraft is pretty much a higher jump, so you can get some really nice positioning with it. Her signature ability is called Tailwind, and it gives you a short directional dash. And now finally we have her ultimate that gives you several knives that one-shot headshot and deals significant damage to the body. Again, nothing seems too overpowered here when it comes to Jet. She does seem to be great for fast rotations, holding off angles, and just being a good match for aggressive gamers. I'll definitely be trying her out right after Phoenix, and will be very interested to see how god tier players can utilize her. Silva comes with Shock Bolt and Owl Drone for the player to buy at the beginning of each round. Shock Bolt is just him shooting an arrow, it blows up and damages and probably stuns the enemy. The Owl Drone is very reminiscent of Crypto from Apex and lets you send a camera drone through the air to spot enemies. Silva's signature ability is Recon Bolt, which you shoot and it then pulses to reveal your enemies. Finally, his ultimate is called Hunter's Fury, which is somewhat vague, but the description says fire up to 3 deadly energy blasts that spear across the entire map. Each hit enemy takes heavy damage and is marked. This seems pretty useful for a smart player to me. Silva has caused some controversy in the community, with people saying that his Recon Bolt will be too powerful. But I take the opposite stance and believe it'll be balanced because the bolt has to hit the ground, then pulse, and in order for the pulse to even reveal the enemies, it has to have line of sight on them. So, between being able to shoot the bolt down and being able to hide from it behind walls, I think it will still be pretty balanced. Silva will probably be better for the more defensive player, but of course, we'll have to wait and see what happens. Next up is Cypher. This guy has a trap wire that he can place between 2 walls to trap his enemies. If someone walks through the wire, they will be restrained and revealed to Cypher's team. If they don't shoot down the wire in time, the enemy will also be dazed. He can also pick up this trap wire and move it to another location. The next ability is called Cyber Cage, which seems to be you throw down what is essentially a landmine, which you can then later remote activate. You can either activate it as a cage to slow enemies, or use it like C4 and just try and blow people up with it. Cypher's signature ability is called Spy Cam. This ability is a remote controlled camera that you can place then look through later, and also fire a tracking bolt from. And now finally we have Cypher's ultimate, Neural Theft. You activate this ability on the corpse of an enemy and it reveals where the remaining enemies are. Now, Cypher will be super familiar to Rainbow Six Siege players. He can also be super powerful in this game where information is of utmost importance. I still am erring on Riot's side and believing him to be balanced, and again, this will be a pretty defensive character in my opinion. Brimstone is a commander from the USA with a ton of battlefield control. His first ability, called Incendiary, lets him launch an incendiary grenade. Again, think of a Molotov from CSGO. Stem Beacon is a piece of utility that he puts down and gives every player around it rapid fire. I'm not really sure what that means, so his signature ability is called Sky Smoke, which lets him place a smoke bomb at any location from any location. His ultimate is then called Orbital Strike, which lets him mark a zone on the map and cause high damage to anyone in that zone. Brimstone seems pretty powerful and a good fit for the leaders of the game. I'm not sure if the stem beacon will be as powerful as it should be, but we'll wait and see. The rest seems like it will be pretty well balanced. Sage is the healer of the game. She has a slow orb which, when thrown, scatters across the ground and slows enemies and makes their footsteps very loud. Her barrier orb makes a large solid wall which can be rotated, and once it's up, it can be shot down. Her signature ability is a healing orb which lets you target either yourself or a teammate and heal them to full. As of right now, this ability is on a 35-second cooldown. Her ultimate is Resurrection, where you target a friendly corpse and get to bring that player back from the dead. Now, Sage specifically has caused a lot of uproar in the community, with people talking about how rezzing in this game would just be too powerful. But I think it will be pretty balanced based on the fact that Sage will get it at most once or twice a half, and overall, if you like the support role, you'll probably like Sage. Viper's two buyable abilities are called Snakebite and Poison Cloud. Snakebite, you fire a projectile that explodes into a pool of damaging acid, so again, think about Molotovs. Poison Cloud, you throw down a gas emitter that you can activate to create a poisonous cloud at the cost of a shared fuel gauge. The emitter can be picked up and thrown again after a short cooldown. Her signature ability is called Toxic Screen, which is a long wall of gas that damages enemies and also uses the shared fuel gauge. Her ultimate is called Viper Spit, which is just a huge toxic cloud that will damage enemies down to 1 HP, but will not kill them. And enemies inside this cloud are highlighted to Viper, and that is very powerful to me. Alright, now we get to go over our last agent and probably the most mysterious one so far, Omen. His first ability is called Paranoia, which sends out a shadow in a straight line and nearsights whoever touches it. Whatever that means. Next up is Shadow Walk, which lets Omen shift to a different dimension for a short distance. Now, I come from Titanfall, and these first two abilities sound like Holopilot and Phase Shift right there. Omen's signature ability is Dark Cover, which sounds like another smoke grenade based on its description. His ultimate ability is From the Shadows, which lets him teleport literally anywhere on the map. If he's killed after this, he is teleported back to his original location. Now, even with all this confusing stuff, Omen sounds pretty powerful. But from what I've heard from the big names and pros who have already played the game so far, they're saying that Omen is actually kinda underpowered, but we'll see. Omen will be pretty high on my first pick list. Alright guys, that's it. If you liked the video, make sure you hit the thumbs up button, and to see more Valorant content from me, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you join all of the communities in the description below, and I'll see you next time. So as always, I'm your coach, Crypt6, and keep learning.